I have no words to start this podcast. If you're listening to this and not watching this, just go to the YouTube channel just for at least 2 minutes of this opening so you can laugh with the rest of us, because this is Final Approach, everyone. Welcome to it. Our guest tonight, our Reverend Mike Miller.
Boots and Barrels member. It's 2 o'clock today. My counterpart, business partner.
Co-founder.
Oh my God almighty today. All right, so I'm trying to keep a straight face on this. All right, Mike Miller. I've known Mike Miller. Let's just start there. I've known Mike since 02, 03, 04, right in there, 04. Yeah. 04 with Buck Gardner. We pro staff for Buck, then we did Mossy Oak, we did Zinc together. Like, we've done everything together. So I've known Mike forever. Actually grew up an hour from me in Pennsylvania, which
didn't even know it.
You didn't even know it. And then we meet later on and we're like, what kicked it off was you said, yo, can I get a water? And I went, what? And I said, where are you from? And he goes, Pennsylvania. I said, yeah, no kidding. Where from? And it's like an hour from me. I'm like, as soon as I heard that, I was like, yeah, I know. Because if you're from PA, you know. So Mike's a firefighter now. He's in Colorado. And we came out to hunt. We're at duck camp. We're at this crazy Airbnb, which is a church. Pretty cool place in Kansas, in central Kansas. We're kind of chasing birds on big water, and that's what we're going to talk about today, big water. But next guest, David Bingham. You've seen David on the last Pass series with his shirt on. David's a professional soccer player in the MLS at Charlotte FC, correct?
Correct.
Look at that, goaltender down there. And that's Nitro. If you haven't seen Nitro, Nitro's been on the episodes, doesn't talk much. He is a great dog. And then, of course, Kyle from Weatherby. You've seen that clown before. So everybody's got a couple road sodas, and now we're just going to chop it up. And since we're in the church, we'll try to keep it.
Do we need to take our hunting clothes off? Or?
No, do whatever you guys want to do.
I'm starting to sweat a little bit.
Oh, my God.
It's a bit warm. The fire's on.
Do whatever you got to do. This complete comedy. This is what I get. Hi, Nitro. Hi, Bubby. This is what I get when we get to duck camp and we get on the road.
You invited us here.
We
were just getting ready for tomorrow.
I should have never invited everybody.
Not one of us said no.
He loves us.
Oh, listen, it's about shooting birds, obviously, but it's about like literally
the good time.
Literally making your stomach hurt while these two clowns act up, and everybody when we're on the road. So. And everything already has happened horribly. And what I mean by that is, Mike Miller got sick and threw up in the bathtub or in the bathroom.
Day one.
All the trailer lights went out on both the trailer and the boat. Nitro threw up in the hotel room.
Right next to me.
Right next to Mike, right on the floor. We almost ran out of gas in the boat. Hey, get out of my iced tea. Get out of my iced tea. And Nitro's licking my iced tea. So, listen, that's what, on the road is all about. And when we do this for the last pass and we get on the road and we go places, it's about laughing and having a good time and trying to shoot birds and whatever. So the whole thing that brings us here is we're gonna chit-chat about big water ducks because, and I mean big water, because David and I chase them on the Columbia pretty hard at home, which is big water, big river system. I used to hunt the Susquehanna River, which Mike did as well back in Pennsylvania, so that's big water. But this reservoir stuff is giant. Yeah. So give me a little. I mean, you're the reason we came here, so give me some info on just the layout and what it takes.
I don't know the exact acreage of the lake. It's big.
It's
really big.
Huge.
Like I said, welcome to the second half of the lake today when we paddled.
When we were scouting, yeah.
We're scouting back in there. But just to wrap your head around it, you have a refuge on this lake. It's no hunting. ducks and geese pile into it.
Yes, they were, and they
And-
come in and out.
You know, it's you find the wind, you hunt the weather, and lately it's been like 60 degrees.
Yeah, so we're supposed to get a cold front. Don't you get in my
Wind
iced
to
tea
bed
again?
tomorrow, cold front,
Yeah.
and a good game plan, like hence the scouting today. We
Yeah.
didn't even hunt today.
No.
We scouted.
Yeah. What you got to do, because you got to figure out, like on the big water, get out of my iced tea. You gotta find them. I mean, we do it at home on the rivers. We would do it on the Susquehanna.
Right.
You gotta find out where, and obviously every day's different. Wind's different, weather's different, whatever. But you gotta have your options for
Day
sure.
to day, and like weather, I mean, we nailed it there. Friday, our first day hunt, I show
cold.
up. We had a game plan in mind because I was here last week.
Yep.
We're gonna go off of this point. Well, driving into that point, I found the mallards. They were in this cove. Hundreds of them. And the next morning, they weren't there.
Yeah.
So
Weather change though.
it's a challenge. Definitely will challenge you. Big weather or big water ducks will definitely humble you. You just gotta have patience and grind it out. And I am sure glad we're here for a week because it might take it.
Yeah, like we're gonna get them eventually. It's just gonna take some time. You know what I mean? So we're getting a weather shift tomorrow, so we'll be in better shape, I guess. So we'll see what happens.
From 6 mile an hour wind coming from the south to a northwest going at 20.
Right, and it's
Or
gonna
better.
go chilly for sure.
Or better.
Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna go in that. So scouting 100% a huge key. And the other thing is like the mystery is where are the birds going? Because you said you tried to scout it, it's impossible because the area is so big.
Yeah.
And when they come out, the road system, I'm not saying the road system's bad. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying there's lack of roads to actually chase them because it's such a big area. It's impossible. It's like nothing I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like it. Not Saskatchewan, Alberta, Pennsylvania, Oregon, Washington, like any place I've hunted, never seen anything like it.
And you get numerous large groups of birds going northeast, south, and west.
Right.
I mean, you just pick a group, you know. So hopefully the wind
Kicks it up.
kicks it up, and they'll fly off into the wind tomorrow.
Yeah.
But you know, another thing, you're talking about big water, and David, you're the dog guy, so working a dog in big water, man, that could be challenging. It could be dangerous for the dog.
Yeah, it's definitely, there's a lot of variables that most people just don't encounter. We actually had a scare first day of the trip. Slow, like you said, 100 mallards, now 0. So you guys go off scouting to try to like
Find them.
We're here for a long day or a long trip. You guys go to find them. Sure enough, a greenhead comes in. Me and Kyle get up, put it on the water, and then honestly, thought it was dead.
Yeah.
Nitro gets about halfway there, can no longer shoot safely, and the duck picks his head up and just starts swimming straight out into the open water. And about 250 yards, maybe 350 yards out, there's all the trees. And there was a slight breeze, so you can't really see like the ripple of the dog anymore. Right. Blackhead, dark water. He gets out so far, my usual hunting whistle only punches out about 350 yards, 400 yards, but the wind's coming at us, ripples. So I run back to the blind, I have a big whistle I always carry with me when we're hunting big water, and just have to recall him because it.
Yeah, because we were on the way back. Like you're
Yeah.
calling saying, "Hey, I need you to come get the dog." And me and Mike are far, so I'm like laying on the front of the boat, and he's just hammering.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were moving.
And it's not a recall issue. It's more of a like he can't hear me issue. And I don't burn my dog just for if I know he can't hear me, I don't burn a dog for that. For sure. But it did get to a point where it became a serious safety issue, and I did call you guys, and then I actually did have to burn him. So I whistled, Nick, here, and just kept doing it because the duck's only 40 yards ahead of him,
And he knows.
he sees it.
He knows. Like,
But the problem we really get into out here, like you said, is the water temperature and the air temperature. It could be a serious safety issue for the dog, and the water is probably not above 40 degrees. Air temperature at that time was about 40 degrees. It was cold.
It was
So-
colder than 40.
Yeah. So it was, and he's, yeah, and he's
And you had a vest on him,
had a vest on him.
but still, like it's just that, listen, I went through the whole thing with jet and hypothermia, and that's the first time I ever saw it. It was a day that was cloud cover. He was in and out a bunch of times. I had him in the blind elevated, so he was out of the water, but it was just like multiple cripples like that, and he just kept going, and then he just shut down. Like it doesn't take a 10-degree day. Like, it doesn't take what I thought it would take. It just takes exposure, time of exposure.
And plus the energy that they're burning, right?
Energy. So like the number one thing for the hunting dogs isn't the actual exercise. It's keeping them, like, their body temperatures regulated, and that burns the most calories. And then when he came back, I've gone through it, like you said, with Jet and my older dog, where it's not snowing out, but just the combination of the water and the air temperature, it's too cold. He doesn't have a lot of fat on him anyway. So another fold in that was, if he comes back and he shuts down, you guys are out in the boat. To get to the truck, we can't get it.
Right.
It's probably a 3.5 mile hike around the lake,
And then you're going to be carrying him.
and we don't even have the keys to the truck.
Right.
But it just came to the point where, like, okay, this isn't great. So he comes out. I put my vest on him backwards. Kyle has like a down FA jacket. Put that on him. Buckle it around the neck. And crank the heater up and use the vest as like almost like a heat tunnel for him. And then after about 10, 15 minutes, he was back. He was totally fine and ready to hunt. But it was definitely not.
Well, the other thing that jumps in, like you're talking about exposure and the time and all the other stuff, it's also like you were talking about, okay, body fat and burning. The other thing that I never thought about is that time that it happened was in the afternoon. Well, he had eaten a little bit in the morning. Well, we were all the way in the afternoon, like time to almost have him fed again. He's out of calories. You know what I mean? So he's got nothing in the tank. So he can shut down easier. So you really need to watch that stuff too, because the first thing I did was like jam food in his mouth. Like literally he was laying on the carpet in the duck shack, and I'm just like feeding him, like hand feeding him, and just like trying to get him going in anything. So it's crazy when that happens.
Yeah, the excess
So
calories.
thank God it didn't.
Yeah, thank God it didn't. But back to that point, I was feeding him beef jerky sticks at that point. When he came back in, the heater's on.
Anything.
Just try to get the blood sugar back up and try to get him kind of back to normal. And luckily it didn't go the wrong way, but it definitely, the hairs on your neck go up, and it's,
Especially being a dog owner, man.
it's tough.
Huge.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah. On this big water stuff, Kyle, like, I don't know, like, you've hunted the Willamette, which is a bigger river in Oregon as well. And like, but right now you're running like smaller stuff and everything in Montana, Wyoming, and everything where you're at. Like, have you hunted anything like this? Because this is definitely
Yeah,
different.
I mean, I did it on the Columbia back when I was in Oregon.
Right.
Did the Willamette.
Right.
It's definitely different. Like, we usually
sure.
just stayed off the reservoirs and kind of focused on the rivers.
Yeah.
But I did actually get to go do some like Lake Michigan recently. So
Gotcha.
that was kind of similar, other than we were actually using layout boats because we were targeting divers, your favorites.
Right. Totally different.
Of course, we're not anywhere near Lake Michigan size, but this is pretty big.
Yeah.
Big reservoir for sure.
Yeah, it's just interesting because we were using coves too at that point on the second day there, because the wind came up so bad we actually had to get the layouts tucked up in those coves.
Right. Well, and that's one of the things, that's where we're heading. Like, okay, tomorrow wind's supposed to blow. We need to be in one of the coves, and we're trying to play our wind to where the wind's at our back, and then we're trying to play the sun tomorrow, but the sun should be a little out. So, but the way we're putting it, we're trying to be in, like, if we're in the cove right now, the wind's right at our back, and hopefully those birds are going to slide up the shore and slide right in. I mean, that's what you're trying to do on a big wind day.
We're banking on that piece of high ground behind us making that big wind shadow that you look for. Because you see
In
ducks
that
on those
still
big
cove.
reservoirs or rivers, you see them on the river in an
inlet,
just chilling, right? You see them on these big reservoirs in that wind shadow, like on the bank, huddled up together, like just chilling.
Yeah. So we're looking for that for
We're
sure.
gonna try to recreate that with our spread tomorrow. And
Yeah.
we're gonna hopefully
Because there's everything here. There's ducks, there's darkies, and there's specks. And the specks have just moved in. And the pattern is so weird here. They are coming from like the east. They're coming from, and then they're going, like, it is so maddening with the weather and the way the birds act anymore. But here, like, the specks are just, and I don't think they know, I think they're new here, and I think their mind is boggled, like, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go back to the weather too, man. It's hot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I had a question for you, Kyle. When we're out there shooting, obviously we're shooting some great shotguns, but have you seen any scenarios where you wanted to change your choke yet in some of these coves, longer shots, closer in?
Yeah, when we had them sliding, when that wind shifted yesterday, there was a couple times I just kind of started reaching down for a little bit tighter choke or switching the load. We did have some tungsten in the bag that I kind of contemplated throwing in a little bit, but they were inconsistent, right? We'd have a couple just right in the hole where we wanted, but then we had a couple that wanted to slide up that. Yeah, so I like to carry both chokes with me. I actually carry a full set for both guns with me, so that way I can change out anytime. But I also usually keep a different load in the bag too.
That's a great tip, man, especially for hunting big water.
Well, listen, it's exactly going to happen the way it is. They're going to either bank and just come in your face, or you're going to fight it all day and the wind picks up and you're going to have to take a couple pokes, Yeah, and the other thing is you're trying to kill them dead, because then if not, we had another situation where the dog's 300 yards away and you got to go get the boat. So, I mean, there's nothing like that feeling. I've had it happen once where it's like, and it was on the Columbia a long, long time ago, my first dog, and I watched him go after goose and go and go. And then I was yelling at the guy to get the boat and go get him, and I was like, can't see him, gone. So
it's hard, especially kicking another factor would be like a weekend.
Where there's other boat traffic.
Where other boats are starting to rip around, and we're in this cove.
Not going to see the dog, not at all.
But the duck's out in the open water, and you have hunters here, guys fishing also. So when they come out, the fishing guys, they're wide open, and they're coming.
Big motors and going, big boats.
And you're not going to see
You're not going to see that dog.
He's a black dog, so you're not going to see a black head just going out there when they're running.
Not in some chop.
Yeah, 35 miles.
Yeah, not in some chop.
We clipped that mallard coming back. That there was a dead.
Mike slammed the brakes on and was like, and I'm on the boat and we made a hard turn and he's like, and I'm like, what? And we come up and the guys in the cove must have clipped the mallard. It was straight dead. We picked it up and then he said, I think that's another one. And we picked up two. So the guys in the cove, like in this other cove, like, I don't think they had a dog, but like you gotta pick up your birds. Like if, and it could have been like, hey, it sailed away and hit the water and died. I'm not saying the guys like did anything wrong. I have no idea. I don't know the situation. Right. But anything could go on out there.
Anything could happen. It could not have been their ducks. It could have been
for sure
way down the road.
And just
I don't fault them for that. I mean,
no idea.
But yeah, we had to check them, right?
We had a band check them and pick them up. Like, hey.
Could have GPS on them.
I guarantee you we're eating them tomorrow night.
Yeah, we already cleaned them.
We already cleaned them.
Yeah, those were freshies. They were nice and cold,
same
bro.
As the one that I shoot.
They were nice and cold.
Right.
They were nice and cold. So yeah, big water. There's a lot of big challenges. I mean, and then as you get colder, I mean, this is one thing that always comes into play. It is boats and motors and anything that could go wrong. Like we had our gas trimmer to trim some brush. Like that thing was tough to start. Just like, you know what I'm saying? Everything and anything could go wrong once you start adding the temperature. Boat batteries, for sure.
Yeah. Happened to us last year.
Yeah.
Get to the river. Mario's boat's in. Put my boat in. We hunted the day before. Mario turns it on. Turns around. My boat goes tick, 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 tick. Battery's dead. Too cold.
Yep. Pull the jumper cable.
There's always something.
Always.
The gas hedger.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's only like Mike yesterday. Too.
Oh yeah. That's
what
what I'm saying. I'm saying nobody could start it, but first pull, I didn't even have to pull it, to be honest with you. I just put it in my hands and it started running. And then I had to put out all the decoys.
Bro, the light's shining on you in the church here.
It just had to run it with the choke fully on the entire time.
You know, and that's what makes big water duck hunting, you know, tough too, when you have to do everything, you know, on the boat, put out the decoys. The only thing I haven't had to do yet was film. But
Could be doing that tomorrow also.
I do have a new partner as of 2 p.m. today. But yeah,
It's tough, bro. It's tough when you're the star. It's so tough.
start the hedge trimmer.
Run the boat, put the blind together, put the decoys out. Go get the ducks.
Dude,
Go pick them up.
Hedge trimmer before we roll out in the boat tomorrow and just go down the bank.
I love it. I'm there for it. I'm there for it.
Somebody might not like that.
You know, we're shooting ultra steel, which was fine, but like you said, I think there was a couple times where it was like, okay, now the wind kicked up, and we were in that second cove when we went to stand on the cove and look at everything. The wind was ripping. So when those birds were like, if they weren't in the hole, like right on the water, if they were up a little in that wind, all they had to do was shift one wing to go right, and they were gone. So you had to step up your choker ammo game for sure.
There's so much that goes into it with this stuff. I love the challenge. That's why I love hunting big water. You get humbled more times than you have not. But like yesterday, we're figuring them out, right? We're figuring them out. And this, onesies, twosies, threesies, couple 4-packs.
Yeah, we shot a couple birds in that cove for sure.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, Mario, look how these birds are working. They're committed fully. About 80 yards out, they are wanting to spin us at least once. And we started hammering them on the corners.
Yes.
Especially the downwind corner was money.
Hard
It was
calling.
money.
Hard calling.
Flip it and come in. So, reading those ducks.
And it was hard. It was hard calling the other day, all the way in.
voice.
All the way in. You know what I mean? Like usually you're just like, hit the corner a little more. You know, trying to keep them interested. This and the other thing. We had a huge spread out too. We
shouldn't have to had to call that hard.
Right, and we were really having a hammer. So, I mean, what did we have out?
17.
Dozen floaters.
Yep.
That's the other thing. I mean, what did we have? 3 dozen geese, or more?
Or more.
4 dozen geese.
Well, plus the specs.
Right. So what was that? 4 dozen.
Dozen specs in there.
Yeah. So
All the mallards.
So 5 dozen floater geese and 12 dozen ducks, mallards, widgeon,
Teal.
pintails, like you name it, just whatever we think we would see. Right. I mean, that's a huge spread. And the only thing that's good is, thank God, the cove still, and what we're planning on tomorrow, it should be somewhat flat, but there's still going to be some movement in the decoys. So we still have some water motion and some spinners just to keep everything looking legit and get their attention. But the wind's still going to move everything. But that's a lot of decoys.
You get in that wind shadow, it's calm. You're going to need your motion. You're going to need your mallard machines. You're going to need your spinners. You're going to need
for sure
jerk cord even.
Yeah,
if you had it.
You're going to need anything. So it's a challenge for sure. Like you got to really chop at it and know your stuff and be ready for anything.
And
honestly,
be ready to change up too, huh? How many times have we moved those decoys?
a lot.
Just trying stuff.
Yeah.
This worked. That worked that time. We moved some decoys to the point.
Yeah. I think the main thing you could talk about on any big water, no matter what it is, river systems, reservoirs, lakes, whatever, bays, whatever you want to talk about, really, you honestly should be thinking about safety is number one, because anything can happen. Because I've told David 100 times, and when we go down the river and all of a sudden we pull in or somebody is backing in or whatever, and I'm just like, I don't know if those guys are going to make it back here.
Right here for a minute and watch them.
Like you've seen it, you're not, because you're not used to you're down in Cali. That's your home turf, right? Yep. So you don't see that dangerous boat ramp. No,
we have different stuff. We have more of guys that are ripping wide open and the tide's going out and they're just stuck or run into a sandbar kind of thing.
Right, but not like not like 4-foot rollers and it's going to come over the boat and swamp it, and these guys, you're going to be picking them up. That's sketch.
There's only 2 situations in Cali you really have to look out for as Nitro's trying to have some iced tea.
Get out of my iced tea. Get over here.
When the bypass goes over,
right,
that gets dicey. You see guys launching some
sketchy
boats that have no business being out there. And then the only other real boat issue you would have out there is when you go out in the bay and guys are shooting divers.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Because then you get some real gnarly weather real quick. But to be
but
fair,
the bay's tidal.
Right.
The bay's.
it is.
Get out of my iced tea.
In their defense, most of the guys that hunt divers out there, they're well equipped. They're running
Big boats, big motors.
real nice boats, nice
Right.
motors.
Watching what
The
they're doing.
average guy isn't launching like a 12-foot John boat out there.
That's what I'm
They're
saying.
not doing that.
I've seen it, buddy. I've
But
seen it, and it's sketchy.
The bypass,
Anything
if
goes.
the bypass goes over, you see guys making some real poor decisions real quick. And that's when people are fishing them out or calling the sheriff. Like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
truck's still here. It's been here for a day.
Yeah.
There's, I mean,
Gotta figure
from
it out.
my line of work, there's no duck worth it.
Right.
There is no duck worth it.
No.
Like,
You got to be careful.
just be careful. Life vest, put it on, wear it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
If it's that sketchy out, put your life vest on before you need to.
We always make a joke, but we'll be fighting over him. If the boat goes over, everybody's going to grab the dog. I say it every time because honestly,
Hold on their vest.
Listen.
and just-
the first thing I did when I took Cole the first time by himself was me and him only. I said, Cole, walk them through the boat. Here's how you had him operate the boat and do everything. Here's where everything is, blah, 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 blah. And I said, listen, if something happens, grab the dog. You got to fly? Grab the dog because he's going to make it. Because there's so many of those stories where it's like, duck hunter dies, but they found the dog. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every time.
Or also, if something happens to you and Cole's there, radio. This is the Coast Guard channel.
Oh, absolutely.
Get on
Absolutely.
the radio. Tell the Coast Guard this is where we're at.
For sure. For sure.
They'll
Because we
know.
switched all those radios.
Yep.
You and I went and bought all the UHF, the marine grade radios. So we had them in the boats. We got them in there. They're charged all the time. It's a constant because where we're at, the Coast Guard station is not far.
Yeah.
And there has been guys, and there's been guys down there that literally have died right across from the Coast Guard station. And all they had to do was get on the horn and go, hey, we're in trouble, this, that, and the other thing, no dice. So safety is a huge thing. Whatever it is, big water, river, lake, whatever, doesn't matter. You got to be ready for it. So I would say that. And then obviously have fun and see what works. And, you're going to scout from the boat for sure. Like, unless you can, like you said, there is some high bluffs you can get on and watch. Scouting obviously is the key, but it changes daily. So you might look at them and so you're taking your shot and your chances.
Right.
It's very unpredictable for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. It's frustrating as all hell. But what else? That's what we're here to do. We're here to have fun and do it. So
Challenging, especially with that many ducks around and geese around.
there's a lot of birds around.
Just got to figure them out. I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Weather helps. Weather's going to help.
Yeah.
We're going to do just fine. We just need to get them, grind them.
Yeah, we're gonna get it. All right, if there's anything else you guys want to add, I mean, I just wanted to talk big water since we're doing it, and duck camps, comedy and fun, and everybody's having a good time, and hopefully nothing else breaks.
I seen you greasing up them guns even out there. What are you using?
It's Otis Crowley.
Okay.
So it doesn't, basically it's almost like spraying graphite is what it feels like you're doing. Because it basically evaporates out, but it leaves a thin layer on there that doesn't allow dirt to bind to.
And doesn't gum up.
Because those guns get shot a lot throughout a season, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe not so cleaned all the time,
But
but
those have had we had at least 4 separate hunts on them that were multi-day hunts, right?
Right.
Didn't have been cleaned.
and you find out that stuff that you're using just is
Yeah, no, it works really well.
Clean them, then put that lube, and then you're off and running.
Yeah, or if you're in the blind and you get one that's starting to slow down and get gummed up because
Yeah, you pulled one out of the case the other day. You're like, yeah, hold on, I gotta do this.
Yeah, I usually pull the barrel, wipe the extension off, and then spray that, cycle it. If it feels like it's sped up, fine. If not, then you might have to pull the bolt and wipe
this
the
is
rails.
all on the fly in the blind, right back.
For sure,
Yep.
for sure.
Well, we know they have good guns because me and Mario, one season, no cleaning. Yo, Kyle, what is that? And like you said, it's the dry. Like, let's get a little spritz in this bad boy. I haven't cleaned it yet. He's always joking. Your case is still wet. Well, we're using them.
When David comes into the garage, he's like, why is your gun in the garbage can? So right next to the desk where I clean birds and clean my guns and do everything right there, there's a garbage can. Well, when I get back, since we got so much rain, I rack the action a couple times, close it, and stick it point down, barrel down in, so all the water just drains out because we get so much of it. That helps because I'm telling you, if The amount of rain that we get, if you leave them the other way with stock down, it just goes right into the stock, and then that's the last place you're going to clean, and that's the first place that you're going to have a major problem.
Well, I mean, you got a stack of guns. I mean, they're in cases, but
Yeah.
you're done hunting or going hunting. You're in and out of that boat. Did you see me today? I turned the bilge on just from getting in and out of the boat.
For sure, there's always water in the boat.
Always water in there.
Well,
Yeah.
you always swing your legs over, waiters, kicking water over. It's going across all the gun cases. Yeah.
Yeah.
The dog.
The dog.
The dog. If
Hate-
you don't want anything to get wet, don't have a dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of dogs.
No.
He's going for the tea. He likes tea better.
He does like the iced tea. He does. I love him.
So,
all
Mike,
right, Nitro,
on
good
your
boy.
decoy rigs,
Good boy.
how long of drop lines are you running on yours?
I have an assortment of rigs. I have some 6-footers.
Good
I
boy.
wouldn't. You know where you're going, right? And it pays
Good
to
boy.
have longer. It pays to have longer in different situations. So I err on the longer side of things. I don't have anything under 4 feet right now. That 48 to what do I get from you?
You got 60-inch. You got some 60s. So 4 or 5 feet.
8
So 4 and 5 feet. Yeah.
8 ounces, on mallards.
Yeah.
Big
For
water,
sure.
big
Big water, big weights, for sure.
So
Because last thing you want to be doing is chasing decoys. We only had to do it once,
Just
but
once.
it's not fun.
And that's totally was on me because I got more decoys in and I'm rigging them before this trip and I'm running out of cord, so I had to go a little shorter. And I ran out of weight, 8 ounces, so I had to go to 6s, and look what happened.
Yeah. Well, it was caught around the neck too, so
yeah.
so it was missing like a foot. So that's what did it. So, but yeah, big weights, big line, like
Well, and
Go ahead.
And that shoreline, like when you got out there, that
Oh,
dropped
buddy.
fast off on that one.
That's the other thing about big water. Like you better find the bottom.
What do we do every time we scouted today?
Find the bottom.
Hold our way into it from our
See how far you can walk out because you can't see the bottom.
From
Like not even if it's 3 feet, 4 feet, like it's gone.
Right.
So for sure. And it depends on David will tell you like he gets mad at me. You have so much line, but when the river comes up and if we're in a hole, like I got 25 feet of cord on there
No, just wrap them up.
because we don't know what we're gonna be in, and everybody's like, well, the ducks aren't gonna be in there. Yeah, they are.
Sometimes. What happened last time we were out there?
Because if it drops off really far, I got 30 feet on there, some of them. And guess what? It drops off that, you can have the decoys out 20 yards, and that's how deep it is there. And we back up into the trees. We're in the top of the trees.
Well, in some of those spots on the Columbia, I mean, you can step off the boat, you'll walk 2 feet, and it just is completely down, and you're
We
over
talk
your
about
waders.
that all the time because it's so tidal and there's so many holes and so many things, like you don't know what's going on. So yeah, there's lots that goes into all this. I don't know, maybe you learned something. Hopefully you did.
So that's why we get the group of guys we got. I mean,
Everybody's got
on
something.
the East Coast, I've been in Chesapeake Bay hunting tidal. I've been hunting big water. You've all hunted big water.
Yeah, everybody's got something
We all
to
got
add
something
to it.
throw in and pitch into.
For sure.
Getting on 'em.
All right, FA Podcast, if you want to get more details about all our products, hit us up, fabrand.com. If you're in Canada, fabrand.ca. If you need international, if you're in Europe, New Zealand, any of those countries, you just hit up our website. It'll tell you international distributors, where our stuff is. You go to the YouTube channel and check out any of the videos, or if you're watching this on YouTube, or just listen on podcast, you can hit up the Last Pass series, which is the web series, and that's what we're doing while we're here. We're filming. So lots going on. We're on season 4 or 5. I don't know what we're on. So we're hammering it out. So we're on 5 right now. So that's what you got to do. Thanks for everybody for coming. That's it. Appreciate you checking us out.
Hey, this is Mario. Catch you guys next time.
Shut up.